Right. So let's see how this rolls, eh? We'll soon see. So I got a bunch of boards back. There's a little bit of thunder and lightning going on outside, but I figured I'd share this with you. Got some boards back a couple of months ago now, to be honest with you. I've been so busy, and the guy hasn't been chasing me. His name's Pablo. Thank you very much, Pablo, for your business and this. So got a couple of these Eden boards back now. I'm not sure if you guys can see this very well, but let's see if I can switch to another camera here. We've got a new camera to do this kind of stuff with. Boom. Some boards back. Let's move the microscope
Listen anywhere,
a little.
anytime. All your music, no interruptions. YouTube Red.
And give it a little bit of, turn the music down just a little bit. And focus this. Alright, these are Eden boards. So if you guys haven't seen these before, these are microphone preamplifier boards from Expat Audio. They're based around the INA163, which is a great chip from TI that I worked with a long time ago. The board is pretty small. I'm just thinking what I have here for scale. Let me change in my pocket. Of course I don't need to change my pocket right now. I use cards for everything. So yeah, this is a typical pen you guys might know. This is the usual pen. You can see it right next to it. I mean, it's pretty darn small for a board. Go up again a little bit with the microscope, just to give you an idea of scale. I can switch back. You can see the board here. That's typical writing pen next to it. You can see this thing is like half the length of the pen, so it's a pretty small board. I got these boards back from Pablo, and God bless his tortured soul. Pablo does some good soldering, to be fair, but not the. Gotta be honest with you guys, not the best soldering I've ever seen. The caps he's used here, these are input DC blocking caps. They're a little bit too big, and so as a consequence, he's had to kind of put, connectors at all sorts of angles. So on these boards, when they do fail, the chip that tends to fail is this one right here. This is the, let me go back to the microscope here. Microscope's down here. This down here is the INA163. This is the mic preamp. What tends to happen is, I have a scrap of paper here I can explain this with. So I love explaining things with a scrap of paper. A couple of years ago I actually wrote an article on this, and so there's some other folks as well over at that article, talking about the danger of phantom power for microphones. So with microphones, what you typically end up happening with, so your input schematic will typically look something like this. And I will, should we keep to this? May as well, just got to keep it small. Alright, so typically you'll have, like this. So this is 6K8, this is 48 volts. So this is phantom, and the microphone is over here. And you have a DC blocking cap, and this goes into the positive of your mic pre. And you have a similar one over here. Well, let's just do it here. It's going like that. And this is connected to this line coming in. And this will connect it. Yep, just to there. This connects to there. And DC blocking cap. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. Let me move up just a little bit. And so what you end up with at this point is, these caps charge up, and unless you control, the current's controlled coming in, but you also typically, if you're switching this, there's a chance that essentially you end up, when these switch too quickly, putting 48 volts straight through these caps, because when you switch your signal on, it's a very, very high frequency transient. Right, so you go from 0 to 48 volts. So it's very high frequency transient, and therefore that 48 volt transient pops through here, and I believe that's what's causing the mic freeze to pop. So you gotta be pretty careful. Make sure you got some good resistors in there, and do like a slow charge on your phantom power and so on. So Pablo, bless his cotton socks, sent me back some boards, and here's when I started reworking earlier. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna depopulate. I'm going to do a quick check on some of these, just to do things like check between the input pins and the power rails, make sure there's nothing shorted deeply inside and so on. And after that we'll move on to a little bit of hot air rework on the INA163, and we'll see how much time we got and how many people we got watching at that point. So let's begin, shall we? Let's get the hot air up and running. So the first thing I'm going to do, whenever you're doing hot air, and the Chinese taught me this one, the Chinese, despite everyone thinking, oh, it's the third world country, they don't know what they're doing, the craftsmanship is poor and all that kind of thing, they're actually incredibly good at working under the most dire circumstances to do things like rework. So the first thing we're going to do, put a little bit of flux on both sides. Now flux, even though I'm not actually putting new solder on yet, flux is just like oil. It just like helps everything just run a little better. Love this stuff. The Chinese say just let the flux do all the work, and I'm quite happy to follow that as well. That seems like a good idea to me. Again, if you do want to tune in and give feedback and chat and so on, you're welcome to chat in the YouTube live chat. That's the way we're doing it tonight. I'm still trying to find the best way to video and to communicate with anybody, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on Facebook or whatever. And tune into Twitter real quick and to Facebook to see if anybody's putting feedback there. Nothing there. And nothing I see over there. Alright, so the hot air is up to 290. and off we go. Now, one of the things I was taught very, very quickly by these reworking gurus I met in Shenzhen was that the key is to keep the hot air moving. So you want to, I have one of these pens, these hot air pens. Got to keep it moving. If you put it in one place all the time, you'll create hot spots on your board and on your chip, and no one benefits from that. So here's the INA163. I've actually got some ZAP 1510s I could try now that I don't work for TI anymore. I don't feel so bad trying them out. But that would probably require me to re-qualify the design and everything else. Alright, no commentary so far. Let's keep on trucking. And back it comes. Come on. Voila, and just like that, the chip comes off. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now, nothing looks like it's been damaged. The board doesn't look like it's been damaged in any way, by any other use. LEDs and everything look okay. Despite him being a bit of a butcher, poor Pablo, when he soldered the connectors and the capacitors on the board, it didn't look like he really did that much damage. So let's, while I'm at it, let me just make sure I've got inventory of all the chips. So I have OPA 134. A quick look. I have a couple of OPA 134s, enough to make 3 boards. That's good. I have a few DRV 135s. Let's just check them really quick. Come on, guys. DRV 135s. I have a small tube of those. And finally, the hero of the day, INA 163s. Let's have a quick look here. Let's go back down to top down. Around here. Top down. INA. Daisy is a little bit shiny. Ever gonna? INA 163s. Oh well, we'll get there. And a small tube of those as well. Wonderful. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to desolder all of the ICs on here, because it's, I could go through and fault find and test one after the other, but given the amount of time I actually have to apply to this stuff, truly I think I'm better off just replacing the lot, testing the board, and moving on. Alright, so let's get the hot air going again. Actually, I haven't put flux down, so I'll put some flux down again. Now, this stuff is the typical solder paste you can get, on eBay or anything like that. Now, don't get confused between this. Move over here. Don't get confused between this and this kind of solder paste. So this kind of solder paste is the stuff that's got solder balls in it. You see there, this one's actually got tin and lead in it. Woo, good stuff. And then this is just literally the flux. So this is kind of sticky flux. So put a little bit on by here. We'll be quite liberal, at least with this. A little bit of here. And a little bit over here. Now, if you are listening, please reply and give me feedback on Facebook or on Twitter as well as YouTube if the music's too loud or I can't actually hear that while I'm recording. So any feedback, all feedback is appreciated. So quick look. Yeah, that's the one thing I'm kind of missing about just having it on the Facebook feed, is that people who watch me on Facebook just get to comment directly in line. All right. So hot air essential. And nothing quite like a good pair of tweezers as well. Let's whip this DRV 135 off. Now the other devices on this board, and I can talk to the schematic a little bit as well, but let's just do it on here. Let me take these chips off this. Come on. Voila. And this one. Come on. Alright, So what we have on this board, I'll walk you all through it, is we move it into view so you can see it. Alright, over here is your input. This is pre-DC blocking caps, this is post-DC blocking caps. And then we move into these devices here. So there's some pull-down resistors here, 1, 2. And there's a simple series resistor here as well. That's to stop high currents. Just try to slow them down a little bit from frying ESD circuits. There's a noise cancelling filter here cap, and then we have 2 ESD diodes. So a pair of ESD diodes, basically if you get an over voltage condition, they should conduct to the rails before it goes into a chip. So let's have a quick clean up the board real quick. And to do that, let me move the right things into view here. I actually cleaned up my board today so you can actually see what I'm doing. Still no comments there, maybe a few comments there. Oh well, too bad. Let's go to top-down view. Alright, so a little bit of alcohol. This is 99% grade IPA. Is IPA? Isopropyl alcohol. I find that anything lower than 99% leaves like white streaks and stuff on the board. It looks ugly. Let me switch back. Alright. All I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to clean up the flux before it gets too dry and sticky and tracks too much crap to it. Let's go back to YouTube over here. Oh, 2 people watching. Hello folks, it's probably me and me. Let's clean this off over here. And then clean this off over here. I'm going to open up the schematic in a minute, and I'll show you guys how to not cheat, but how to use Eagle like a smart cookie. Alright, that's trash. Let me get the old schematic here, hold on. And I'm going to switch to, and I might lose chat here, but I'm only going to use it for a little bit. Desktop view. Oh, look at that. Let's get rid of that TV. That was supposed to be for my head. Alright, so let's zoom in and around here. Okay, so the key things to know on this board are the names of some of the signals here. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to board view and look them up. So for instance, I have a plus 15 volt, minus 15 volt and ground. And I really should try and test between some of these front-end diodes to see if there's any damage here. So let's get I'll put the tools over to one side for just 1 minute. And the alcohol back there, some pen heads over there. Alright. I'm going to wipe down this bowl in my hands. This alcohol is going to evaporate pretty quickly. There we go. Alright, so you should I should be able to flip between this view, there we go, where you can see my multimeter. Hold on, let's see if this will auto zoom first. It's my grubby hands. Alright, well if you can't see it, you'll soon be able to hear it as I put this on the old short circuit test. And what I'm going to do is jump views. Hold on guys, this can make you kind of sick. Go back over here, come in here, this is my board view. Let's get rid of these dots. Off. So show plus 15 volts. Boom. And you can see it actually highlights for me the route that 15 volts takes around this board. So I should be very easily, and let's just show ground as well. Show A, G, and D. Okay. So analog ground is, we can put analog ground as a black one here. And we'll switch views to general top down. Gotta give me a shortcut button for this. Alright, and actually I probably need to, here we go. Actually that's funny, you can see that it's mirrored now. Okay, up here is going to be 15 volt, and it looks like that's not shorted. That's good. Let's go the other way. Nothing. Very, very good. Alright, so now I need to check the diode drop. So how do I do that with this? Let's see if these diodes are working. 0.6 volts. Yeah. Actually, you can actually see on the little LED down there, it's starting to glow as well because it's sending current through. So I'm quite happy with that so far. Surprisingly, I'm not normally an easy person to please. All right, so let's check the impedance. I'm sure you guys can see this. The scope. You have to read backwards a little bit. I'm going to check these resistors real quick. Make sure they haven't gone off. Come on. Yeah, 12. It should be about 12 ohms or so. 10%. Oh, within 1%. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Let's just test that one last time. That point and that point. Come on. Down the way, little bugger. Ain't that interesting? So the question is, let me switch to my microscope mode. Where's that supposed to go into? Okay, that's a test point. I should be able to test between. La 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 la. Bear with me, guys. Back over here. Test this line here. Show VN minus. Okay, copy. Show VN minus. Okay, so I should be able to test between this point here and this point here and read 12 ohms. So I'm actually not reading anything at all there, which is a bit nerve-wracking. Oh, you can't see because of my big fudgy fingers. That's really interesting. So let's try this point up here then. Nothing at all. Well, why are you? See, if I measure just the resistor itself, I'm getting about 12.8, which is great. But the second I follow it along, that gets it. But what about from here? Nothing. So I think I've got a problem here. Alright, so let's give that a little solder, I think. And where is my solder spool? Let's see if there's anyone actually watching now. Let's go back to full screen, top down. One person watching probably means I'm okay. Okay. So hopefully you guys can see the board now. It should be zooming in. If it's not, I should. Okay, we'll do it over here. So this here is a resistor over here, which I'm not very happy with. I'm just going to add a little smidge of solder there. Maybe keep this in a little bit. Okay, let's see if that's a little happier. So, tweezers in. And it's funny how surface mounted devices can do that to you. Surface mounted devices will completely screw you the first chance they get. So now I measure 13.5 on that beautifully. Now let's check the other one. There, I guess. There. No, to there. And that's 13.4. Alright, so I now know the front end of that is much, much happier. So now let's clean up these pads a little bit. Well, I've got my soldering iron hot. And we can go from there a little bit. Alright, everything else looks alright. I'm pretty happy with everything else on this board. So, let's what next? I guess given time, maybe we should just get on with putting boards back on this one, and I'll do the other two boards then, and I have another evening, I think. Let's get a new INA163 out. Well, I think it's really interesting that I found that one of the resistors was a little weak on the input. I wonder if that's going to be an issue I see with a lot of devices. Wow, isn't that thunder outside? Alright, so tweezers. There's 9A163. Now, I think I've got enough solder on these pads as it is. Let's have a quick look under the microscope. Here. I'd say I do. I think I've got enough to get started. What I'll do is I'll actually, no, it's actually looking a little thin. Alright, we'll tack the top one and the corner one and we'll hand solder. It's faster that way. Let's put some paste down. Really need a little brush for this. Okay, so let's put that on. Okay, let's put that over there. Got my chip waiting by here. There. And I'm going to add a little bit of solder, teeny tiny bit of solder to the corner pads here. Okay. What that's going to do is just generally help hold the chip in place while I bring it in. So let's Bring in the hot air wand. And grab my 163. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Yes, you can. Shit. Let's pin one in this thing. Pin one is marked here. Nice as usual. Okay. I'm going to warm this up very gently. How this holding so far. Tap this up. We're making fun of Pablo soldering at the beginning of the show tonight. It doesn't look like I could do much better, to be honest with you. Excellent. Alright, so that's blasted that. Now I need to get some extra solder on the other pads. So I'll let that cool down a little bit. We'll wipe my brow while I'm at it. And let's tune some of these other pads as well. Now it's time to go a little bit crazy. A little bit more flux. This flux will clean off faces a little bit of isopropyl. And this stuff melts on quite easy. And what I'm putting this on for now is I'm going to do, I think they call it strip SMD soldering, where you basically go in a quick line with the solder, and you hope like crazy that it will, and I'm joking a little bit, you hope like crazy that you don't get too many bridges as you go. So, you ready? One side, and do you see any bridges there? I don't see any bridges right there. That is gorgeous. Let's do the other side now. You ready? I'll see if I can do it where you can see it. Okay, I can see it better than I can. No, I can't do it like that. Let's turn this around. I'm sorry, guys. I wanted you to see it better than I can, but I gotta do this work. Let's bring the zoom down a little bit more. How's that for a sharp picture now? There's no bridges there. It's just solder paste you can see. Once again, no bridges. And plenty of solder to hold the darn device in place so that Pablo doesn't send them back to me again. Isn't that right? Alright, but we've made a hot mess of that PCB now, so, well, not a mess, but we've got to clean it up. Can't send the board back out like this. So, let's fire up the there. Get some more of these. I do actually have an ultrasonic cleaner. I've actually fired it up. I don't really have enough work for it to justify it. In the next production run I'll do it. There we go. And you've got to clean flux off. You have to clean flux off. Even with the no clean stuff, you still got to do something to get off, because otherwise it ends up sticky on boards and it attracts dirt and dust and it just looks gross. So, you know, if it's only just a couple of spots, you don't really need to do that much, but, you know, when you're pouring on like I was just doing, which somebody somewhere is cursing me right now, or will curse me one day in like 5 years when they find this stream online. Get back in front of everybody. Sorry about that. There's your Burr Brown logo as well. You don't see that very often anymore. Oh, I miss working with those guys. Okay, all right, one down, two to go. You guys can, you know, when you're looking at evens online, I think you guys can get a rough idea of kind of how much work goes into doing these as well. It's certainly not free. So we've got that in place, and let's firstly throw away these old chips so I don't get confused. They might be fine, but I'm not willing to risk it. My time is worth more than those chips. And let's move our magnifying glass back up so I don't have to be so perfect and precise when I'm looking at my board. All right, and we'll still fine tune that. All right, so next chip, please. Let's pop in the top one here, which is the RB135. And look at that, I've got one right here. So what's really interesting about this is that normally by now, if I do this on Facebook, you all have chatty Cathy's on Facebook. But if I do it on YouTube, I get almost nobody commenting. I wonder if it's because it's a Wednesday night and it's so late, or if it's some other reason. We'll soon see. Alright then, now let's load this up again. Let's clean up these pads. A couple here I'm really worried about. We'll actually have a relatively modest amount of flux already on them. Let's get another stick of this stuff. Let's put some flux down. Flux is always the good stuff. Oh yeah, love this flux. Flux, 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 flux. You can always tell the happiest person in the room if they're singing to themselves. Alright, let's have a quick look. And get some hot air going. Let's pin one. Hot air just warming things up. Pop this back down. Pretty good placement to start off with. A little tap in there. There we go. I would say that was job done. We'll give it a little bit more solder just to guarantee the job is good, and we'll check for shorts and so on in a moment. Let's solder. And just for your knowledge, it is solder, not solder. Okay, one side. Let's make sure this is under the microscope so you can see it. It's often hard to kind of be staring at the board myself and then also trying to make sure that you guys can see what I'm seeing. Alright. That, I believe, good. Let's have a quick look at that one. Close one to the microscope. Burning my fingers. I don't see any bridges on there either. Alright, I'm pretty happy so far. So, next step, put the last device on, which is the OPA134. In this circuit, the OPA134 is designed to remove any DC offset from the output. Clever little circuit. There it is there. Fix the, sorry about guys. Okay, let's get this device on. Let's check the solder situation. Let's give it a quick clean up. Okay. Well, let's get the hot air going. Remove the flux first, as always. I'll clean the board at the end now, I think. Yeah, flux just helps like heat flow and everything. It's just amazing stuff. Someone said to me that it's actually natural from trees, from the bark of trees and stuff. I thought, maybe there is something like the power above or something for electronics engineers. Is the only thing that keeps us alive when we're playing with 240 volts. You guys see? I broke my first rule of soldering there. I didn't keep on moving. Okay, let's get some extra solder on there. And everything, I got so many wires around here with cameras and things hooked on there that it's just dying to melt on something. Extra solder, not solder. Oops, obviously you can see it's down there. Should we bring it down so I can see as well? It's actually like beautiful. Okay. Let's give this a little kick in the nuts. So that's the nice thing about these SOP packages, is that the actual pins are far enough that your chances of bridging when soldering manually are pretty good. I mean, your chances of getting bridges are pretty low, whereas if you've ever dabbled with T-SOP packages, which is more or less all I used to work with when I was at my old employers, that's T-SOP 0.65mm. I mean, they're not as bad as wafer chip scale packages, but man, they're still, when they go wrong, Let's have a look at close for this. Alright. I would say that is more than good enough for government work. So now let's clean up the board a little bit. Go back up. Zoom, 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 zoom. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. So go on. Love this little microphone stand. I'll actually post a link to this in the description. Very happy with it. This is one that Dave from the EEV blog recommended. I thought, oh, that's actually alright, guys. I actually had one of the microscopes itself, but I got it as like a, for like dentistry or some rubbish like that. And I'm now trying, the stand itself is a cool little metal stand. I'll show it in just a minute, but let's just clean up this board first. another clean stick here. Hopefully I'm not going to get hit with a YouTube copyright there. Alright, so before we put this on the tester, I'm also going to get these caps in. So 1, 2, 3, 4 caps need to go in. And what I'm actually going to do is bundle a couple of extra caps of the right size back in for poor Pablo so that he can add this without adding ridiculous connectors and so on. So let's get some of those caps. If I was those caps, where would I hang it? Know it in my inventory system somewhere. Used on even, look at that. Ba 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 da ba. Switch back to the other view. Notice. Tray of caps. Oh, it's not. Come on, you can do it. There we go. See, look at that. Gotta fix this mirroring issue. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, so I need 4 of these. These are actually bipolar caps, so it doesn't really matter which way you put them in, which is quite nice. They're 10 microfarad each, and the reason I got them was, you never know when you've got phantom power on one side or the other. You never know if you're going to have, one side is DC biased above the other, is the input DC biased and so on. And rather than do all the hard work in calculating it out, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to make my life real easy, and I am going to get my polar caps. So let's pop them in. You guys can see one. Now one of the things I really wanted to try and do, one of the experiments I wanted to try and do was to actually get 3D print the opposite of this so that it holds the parts upside down. I'm going to actually try that one of these days. It actually would make a great manufacturing jig. Okay, there's 4 caps. Is this one going to go through? It is. Alright. So let's let's get a little bit of flux around these. Even for manual soldering and stuff, flux is just great stuff. Just helps it flow. I've always found, and maybe it's because my soldering lines have never been good enough, for soldering anything to a ground terminal is always a phenomenal pain in the bottom. Because the ground plane, the heat doesn't transfer well enough because it gets soaked away and doesn't stay around the joint and so on. So a little bit of flux never hurt anybody in that respect. Now I'm not going to solder connectors on because the test jig I have takes advantage of the fact that I don't need to. So poor Pablo's going to get these boards back with no connectors on. He's going to have to solder them on himself. Alright, let's get this done. Solder. And off we go. Now remember, we have to clean the solder off afterwards, otherwise it's a big hot mess. Bit of solder. It's amazing how quickly you burn through this stuff. This one here is a ground pin. Vicky hates ground pins. And even though Eagle tries to help by doing these funny isolation things, they never truly work. Next one. Voila. Okay, let's pop this in. Unplug my desoldering iron. I have an awesome desoldering iron, by the way. I really need to show you guys. So this desoldering iron, oh god, it's hot now, actually has one of these solder suckers built into it. So you can really get in there soak up the, warm up the solder and whoop, soak it all up. Fantastic. Best 20 bucks I spent. Made by Velman of all companies. Kind of given up on them years ago. Let's still obviously doing it. Unplug that. There we go. Alright, let's get some snips. Some Plato snips here. These will be available on the Expat Audio store soon. We'll just point it down. Alright. These aren't the most perfect soldered on caps, so let's add a little bit more heat and push it through. This is where I burn myself. Good, great. Okay. Let's give these points a quick clean. Now you're saying, God, I bet you wish you had another solid there. Now, I'm not going to do it on tonight's show. I'll probably finish all 3 of these, and then I'm going to run them on the tester that I have here. And let's see if we can get it up and running. Yeah, it's like Doc Brown's hair. Alright, let's get back in here and keep on soldering here. Go around the other side, around the other side, around the other side. That's the one thing about pin-headed components, is that they ruin these cotton buds. They're very nice. Good thing they're disposable, eh? Alright. So, board is done. I'm going to sign up very, very soon. I just thought I'd walk through what the next step is in this. I think that some of you that may have previously may have seen this before, but maybe some of you haven't. This is the test board I use for the Eden boards. Now it's not plugged in or anything yet. I need to do some little bit of work on making sure this resistor here, this tuning pot, is good enough. But essentially, these pogo pins on here. I'm not sure if you guys can see these pogo pins. I am able to put it right around here, sit the board down on here, flick the power on, and by measuring input to output distortion using an audio precision. Oh, hey Nathan, how's it going? Yeah, there we go. Thank you for joining in on some of the comments. But yeah, this is I use the AP here and I set it up and I look for a specific number in the test and so on. It's probably needs a little bit more cleaning offline, but yes, there we go. So that's about it for tonight. I'll probably come back on again in another couple of days, finish these boards off. I'd like to get them out to Pablo. I feel terrible I've had them so long. But thank you all for watching, Nathan. I get the feeling it was you all along. I do appreciate it. And have a good evening, and I'll speak to you all soon. Alright, take care. Good night.